bass hit hard, make the whole bar fall. Little bit sweet, little bit reckless. You can't hang, you can't handle Texas heat. Hands up high if you feel this heat. Dust in the
Hey, how's it going out there tonight? It is Boots, Stars, Guitars with the Beat and the Business. We're coming to you live right now, the Beat and the Business. I am Tracy Two-Step. My host tonight is dun, 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 dun.
Ralph Miguel from 100 Meter Scream.
All right, I know you got a bigger voice than that one. Ralph Miguel, 100 Meter Scream, the lead singer of all. It just came in with a quiet voice, so I had to do that.
The soft-spoken lead singer, the soft-spoken.
It's very, but he does not. You've got to check out his music now. Come on, I will preach about Ralph all day long. One of the best vocals that I've heard in a long time for me is Ralph over here. So he may not say it. I bet you our guest is going to agree tonight too. You have a tremendous vocal range. I love your music. It is 100 Meter Scream, everybody out there. 100, you do not spell that. That's a number. And then Meter Scream. I am Tracy Two-Step. You never spell two-step either. That's a two right there. Do not spell it. So Tracy Two-Step, Ralph Miguel, Boots, Stars, Guitars, the Beat, and the Business. And now I'm going to take a breath and say, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the show. We thank you to all of our radio station partners, our television partners, and podcasting media companies. We are now a full broadcast, podcast, media, radio, you name it, we're it. Full shop right here, Ralph.
Yeah.
We're also live streaming too. So we got all of it going on. How are you doing?
I'm good. Grand scheme of things, can't complain. So, you know.
We've got, there we go. There's Biggie Paul tuning in, taking care of us there, over there on the other side. Got you. 100 Meter Scream's already checking in. I say we go ahead and grab our guest. Our guest, gosh, there's a lot that could be said. I have a lot of information, by the way. When you want to go search the information I have under anything Tracy Two-Step, just look up Tracy Two-Step with a 2. And you can find it, but Greg is on tonight, and it's Gregory, and I am Sicilian, and if I mess up his name, I'm going to get in trouble. I know that I am, trust me. I'll get called. I'm not kidding. So Greg is on tonight, and he is with the ConcertCollab, the Music Indie Coalition, correct, Ralph?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
The Music India, I think coalition.
Indie Coalition, yeah, and ConcertCollab.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got quite a lot going on, and I love what he's doing. Here's the crazy thing. Greg's on tonight because he has so much information. He's so involved. We could not get enough out of him the time that we did bring him in, and this time we're bringing him in with music because we are a show that is about stories and songs. So we always bring you the music. So right behind that music, I saw something interesting. So Greg had sent in a song today, and it's actually by an amazing female artist that I actually met. I won't say exactly where, the North Texas area. And I went, you've got to be kidding me. And it can't be another person, but we're going to ask him. But I was like, I already knew that I loved Greg. He just laughed the whole time we were on the phone. I loved it. And I knew I needed to. There's my girl right there. Hello, we are checking in on you too. So good to see you, Miss 99.9. We love you. 1 Star Radio. Shout out to you, and HTTV as well. Can't wait. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our guest tonight, Greg, and we're going to let him pronounce his name first, and then we can all laugh or just start rocking it out. Nice to see you. Greg, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on again. I'm very excited to be back.
Well, we are excited you are here. Now pronounce your last name.
No. Can I try it? Can I try it? See if I get it.
Sure.
Go for it.
Okay.
Ferraiolo.
Ferraiolo.
Yeah. Both correct. Good.
Ferraiolo.
Ferraiolo.
Is it really Ferraiolo?
Yeah, it's Ferraiolo.
Ferraiolo.
Ferraiolo. Either
Ferraiolo.
works. I'm happy
Okay, it's
anyone gets close
Gregory.
to it, so it's great. But Greg is fine.
Gregory Ferraiolo. You hear I have to do the little
Well,
Italian spin.
it would be Gregorio Ferriola.
Yes.
That's what it would be.
Yeah.
There you go.
Gregorio Ferriola.
Now you're bringing back my childhood.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'm
So,
sure some pretty
Greg,
good in that childhood.
when I said Sicilian, so is that somewhat Italian, your last name there?
Just a little bit. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I thought so.
On both sides.
Tuning in right here with Sergeant Two-Step, the board here, Mr. Neil Sparkman. How are you doing? Thank you. Please share that out. He's over there working hard too to keep us connected and engaged. Greg, it's so nice to see you. Co-founder of the Musician Indie Coalition and ConcertCollab. And so I wanted to get just a little bit on you and where you saw that we needed to start getting more involved in this indie coalition and what is ConcertCollab. Very curious.
So, I mean, I started Musician Indie Coalition about 9 years ago at this point, 10 years ago, really. But we've been in business for 9, my partner TJ and I. And we started it because, artist development's kind of a thing in the past with, music these days. Record labels used to develop artists and take the time to really get them to the point where they're professional. And they would help them with all the business and the branding and all the things that would go into a career. And now that's really non-existent. And so we started Musician Indie Coalition specifically so that we can help provide musicians with the guidance, resources, professional connections, and support that they need to develop their career in a way that not only helps them to get from where they are to where they want to be, but does it at a cost that at a music lesson essentially, because it needs to be inexpensive because, most musicians are on a budget. And then as we move forward throughout the years, we started doing one-on-one coaching. And as we've developed the program, we've realized that there are some resources that exist, and then there are some resources that need to be created. And that's where ConcertCollab came in. And the whole premise behind ConcertCollab is, we live in a world where, social media and streaming are the main focal points for most musicians. And I just believe that there's a better way forward. And that better way, in my opinion, is not going more into technology, but more into personal relationships. And so the concept behind ConcertCollab is allowing musicians to team up with one another so that they can share stages, build community, and through that have an organic way to grow their music career and their audience while actually earning money. So that's the whole premise behind it, is bringing people together. And I've seen it in little pockets when musicians come together to perform. Little by little, these shows grow, the community grows, and pretty soon you not only have musicians performing, but you have other artisans coming in, other small businesses adding to the mix. It just turns into a wonderful mix of community and music. And that's what we're trying to build through the ConcertCollab platform.
I like that. So that's a lot of information there. So it is, you're coming in with, you sound like me. Everybody's always like, oh, hold on, Tracy, let me unpackage this. So you are the co-founder of the Musician Indie Coalition and ConcertCollab. If I were to talk to you and I would say, Greg, I am someone who is wearing a hat that is songwriter, demo artist, A&D, A&E. I like to throw festivals because we have a nonprofit, and I like to work with a lot of the indie artists to get them exposure, not just the exposure, but a lot of the materials and things that need to be done that are not getting done because we don't have the correct teams. You're not with an album. I said album. Yes, I dated myself. You're not with a team. So to have that team beforehand is a big deal. So I feel like I wear multiple hats, and I think you do too. So if I were to say to you, hey, Greg, I'm looking in September. Again, this is a true story. There is Gold Star Family Day, Gold Star Mother's Day. Every year in September, we throw a festival of bands that will come on, multiple bands. Ralph is very familiar with this. Nobody else understands that day exists. That day is Gold Star Family Day and Gold Star Mother's Day. Very big day that we really should be doing some kind of festival, some kind of something. So it's not like you're constantly at a funeral. And so I noticed this because I happen to be one of those individuals. And everybody was coming to me going, can you please do something where we can come to it and it's fun. And it's like, okay, I'm going back into music. I need it therapeutic-y. It's a universal language, number one. it is very therapeutic and beneficial. And so for me, that has been like a lifesaver. But if I came to you and I said, Greg, look, I'd like to grab 5 to 7 artists. I'd love to do this in Texas. I'd like to put this all together. What would we do?
Yeah. And that's the purpose behind ConcertCollab. So it's starting off by, finding the music first. So finding artists that are in the genre that you want to perform, getting to know them, making sure that you're kind of all on the same page. Because when you're putting together an event like that, it's not just finding the right musicians, it's finding the people that are emotionally connected with the purpose behind what it is that you're doing. And that's one of the things I always love about musicians. When there's some sort of good cause or tragedies going on, musicians are the first ones to pitch in, put on a concert, do something to actually help the situation and make it better. So for me, it always starts with the people. So through a platform like ConcertCollab, which we're it's still in the early stages, we're building out our community and venue database and places where musicians can perform. You would start off by, researching all the musicians in the area, and then you'd be able to reach out directly through the platform, set up a meeting with them, talk a little bit, find out if you guys are interested in performing. And then from there, we are then going to be offering resources to help with whatever organizational stuff that they need. And as we're building this out, there's going to be a certain level of educational things for musicians and event organizers if they don't know what they're doing. And for ones that do, if they don't have resources, they'll be able to reach out to us and we'll be able to help connect them with the right people.
I like that. So then you're building your network up. So for the different pieces that are going to be needed, no matter if you're starting out as an artist or you've been an experienced artist, both?
Correct. So it's for all ages. Because the reality is, it's like if you are an established musician, you always are going to need some sort of an opening act. I find that a lot of established artists, do want to pay it forward. They like connecting with new audiences, getting a younger crowd sometimes to come in if they're an older act. But for new artists, they need that, that opening chance, be able to come and get in. And even people that are maybe not able to play a full 45-minute set yet, I want to encourage them to be able to come on and play a song or two with an act that's playing a full show. So we want this to be an entire, development platform where musicians can pair up with each other to play these stages. And if they need help to, further along their music career, as far as the music development side of it or the business side of it, we'll be there to help them with all the resources so that they can kind of keep progressing consistently towards what their goals are.
And Greg, where do they find you? Where is the best place to go to find you for this?
Yes. So for ConcertCollab, you can go to ConcertCollab.com. We are in our early stages. We're bringing on founding members even as we speak, and we're giving a free year plus a 30% discount to all the musicians that come in and support us early on. And we're bringing in some really good organizations that support musicians as well to kind of help along with the facilitation of the growth of the membership. So that's a great place to connect with us. But you can also connect with me too through musicianindiecoalition.com. It's just easier to put in ConcertCollab because it's a shorter URL.
Yeah, I like that. I like everything that you're talking about. And Ralph over here, Ralph Miguel, 100 Meters Scream. You're familiar with him as well, as he was on with you. Did you meet Ralph? Have y'all met before?
I hadn't met him prior to, but
okay.
I felt after that one, session when I was on there for a couple of hours, I felt like I knew him when I got off.
Yes. Yeah. We're one big happy family over here. So we are a foundation. We stick together. We support each other. The artists that need each other, whether it's at the very bottom or at the top, whatever that might be. Actually, someone within 100 Meters Scream, I work very close with them in music. So whether it's PR, bio, it could be very basic things. Social media. There's a lot of things that we can do that also help within the music industry. And even some of the most basic things that you would not think about. Some people are just like, look, I don't want to do that. I don't know how to do that. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I need help. And so I find that I would let Ralph kind of answer this one. Ralph, because I do believe that we all wear very multiple hats. So looking to do festivals, we have these broadcasts where we're able to put artists on. We've had indie artists on at no expense. comes right out of our own pockets, unless we get generous donations coming through our foundation, or advertisers will be looking for those soon too. So, but having the ability to be on TV, having the ability to be on multiple radio stations, and in a media company that does do podcasting on a commercial level. So I usually come in and I say, listen, there's a few things I'd like to let you know. Number one, because I am with the media company, radio and TV, our studio has the software ability to immediately snag your music. So if your music is registered appropriately, whether it's BMI, you could use ASGAP. I use BMI. Ralph, I think you do too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we use BMI. So immediately, if you are going to go play a song, you want it recognized. So if I go in here and I'm going to hit, for instance, it's Rabs. I know that's Rabs.
Yeah.
If I hit her song, immediately it's going to say, hey, hold up. You've got to give credit to that artist. And so we're not just online, and we're making sure that our artists are getting the credit.
And let me interject, Tracy, for a second before on that point, because this is something that I've seen time and time again. And thanks to Dr. G, you know,
she's my partner over there, Dr. G.
Yes, yeah, she's also 100-meter screams manager, but it's the metadata too. You have the right metadata.
Yeah. I was going to get there.
So that's it goes, you know, yeah, you can be registered with BMI and all that, but if you don't have the accurate metadata on there, that could be an issue. So you got to make sure, and I'm sure you'll elaborate on that again, Tracy, that's something that's very important for artists to know how to proceed with the metadata. By the way, I love every time I've seen you, Greg, I get hypnotized by Mr. McCartney there and his sergeant.
I know.
And I think that's George next to him. Like I'm trying to focus, but then my eye keeps shifting to Pepper.
Trying to look in the background. I love that. I love to look in the background and try to see what's behind him.
That's really
I
cool.
saw where you were going with that. I was saying, so in BMI, one of the things we're going to do a webinar, but basically you'll know this, Greg, and you too, Ralph, you should, or you're about to get in trouble from your manager, my partner. Oh. When you go on, like tonight, Ralph, you're on, and let's say I've got 5 of your songs in here, and you're with BMI, you go in BMI Live. So you can go into BMI Live, you've got your set list, and you would go in there and claim your set list, and that is something that you did tonight. You're outperforming, you're a BMI artist. That is one other way that you can also return revenue to yourself. So are you familiar with that?
I definitely am. We definitely
good.
We definitely train our set lists, you know,
most definitely.
Yeah.
Are you familiar? You are too, right, Greg? I know you are.
Yeah, I've worked in digital distribution literally when I first started my career. So yeah, and I teach.
I was going to say, I knew that Greg, not only did he know, but he could probably teach me a lot, an awful lot. And that is what I like, is that I don't know everything. And I do love when people come in to teach. Well,
Tracy, Greg has quite the pedigree there, because last time we were talking, I was at all because he's working with one of the best producers of all time, or he was working with him and his company, the great Nile Rodgers. So I was asking him something. I'm gonna ask you some of those questions again tonight, Greg, for some of the people that are tuning in. But yeah, I think Greg's been quite around the block quite a few times in the music business or music industry. So
that's a polite way of saying it. Yes.
yeah. But that's a great point that Tracy's making, that a lot of artists don't know. There's just so many things. And look, and I'll be honest with you. I'm not gonna. It wasn't until we met Dr. G, a long time ago, that she came in and it just out of serendipity, we met the right people through our old manager, and we met somebody at the cutting edge in New Orleans, thanks to Mr. Cager, Michelle Maslin, who Gloria met, and that's where the journey just took, and she got all that information about how to really start with the music business on metadata, about BMI. Yeah. There's differences between ASCAP and BMI. Like BMI is good if you're trying to do synchronization. If you're doing sync, they tend to pay better and quicker would be in my ASCAP. They do pay, but I don't know their mechanism, how it's working with that. But there's a lot of things you tend to find out. When back many moons ago, when I was signed with the band and pretty significant label and stuff and people, we didn't know a lot of this information. We didn't know a lot of this information. You come out to find this out either when you're kind of out of the music business, or you kind of get back into it, you kind of wise up, and then you're like, how did I not know this back then? And you have to go out. No one's going to come and say, here's the info, because it doesn't behoove some of the individuals involved for you to know.
Yeah.
So you have to really go out and search for it and be inquisitive. Especially, it's like, one thing I had to learn, you know how it is, Greg. I'm sure you deal with this all the time. You're an artist. Artists aren't exactly, the best. They're not really in the, what's the word, merchant class bourgeois business kind of thing. I'm saying that they're more
saying
in the
we're
arts.
not smart.
No, remember I mentioned Mick Jagger not too long ago. He's the manager for the Rolling Stones, and he's the lead singer, so it can be done. But most musicians sometimes, they have the acronym, but you know how it goes. So
even so, it's like,
confusing.
Before I work with any artist, I always ask them, like, why'd you get into music? Why are you looking to do this for? No one ever says, I'm really looking to do sales and metadata. I want to learn all about those things. It's not what you get into the business for, but it is such a critical part of it. And it's not, you're right. There's so many artists that don't realize that it exists. I will say 10 years ago, the idea of musicians learning about the business was really not well received when I would be connecting with them. Now it's getting to be much different. They realize it's just, it's a necessity. You can't, there's no way you can't do it and have a career, in my opinion, at this point in time.
No, it's a digital world of music.
Yeah.
So in a digital world of music, if you plan to make this a career move, you definitely need to know, I would say, some basic information, and then have someone on your team that you meet that actually does know what they're doing in regards to that digital movement. In a digital movement, Greg, I make the joke a lot, and I say, listen, if you want that wooden nickel, you're going to have to move that playlist over into a song list that you are going to make for your artist. Because if you just hit play, you're not doing a thing for that artist. You've got to move the music. And I make the joke about the wooden nickel because they don't make the pennies any longer. So maybe you'll get the wooden nickel. It's a bad joke. It's supposed to be a funny joke is what it is. And Greg, you could probably explain, why do I say that?
I mean, because it's, listen, the reality is, as musicians, people don't live off of music sales these days. And so you have to get out there and, sell. I mean, it's such a weird thing to say, but I sat with a music manager one time that had done a lot of work. And he said to me, he's like, artists always think about, creating the music, but as soon as they're done creating it, now they have to start getting creative in how they're going to go about selling it. And it's like, it's just as much of a creative process as anything else. But most musicians' business plan is just to put it out there and, see what happens. And so, they're not going to be collecting anything like you were talking about, if that's their position on making sales. So they have to really get out there. You can't just, like you said, they can't just push play and hope that something happens with the song. They have to go out there and really hustle and get people into the music and really connect with them and build a movement behind what it is that they're trying to do with their entire career.
So I like everything that you just mentioned, because that is true. So you've got your song, you're all ready to go, and you're all pumped. Now it's like, what do we do? That's what happens. It's the, wait, what do we do? Okay, we uploaded it. It's out there. I can't tell you how many times I get this. Just today, I rekindled a relationship with someone, and they were like, okay, where are you at? And they're like, okay, well, if it's uploaded and I can find it on one of the many digital platforms that are out there. And what I mean is the social media, like TikTok, for instance, I'll mention that one.
Right.
If you upload it out there, that's great. That means that you're doing good. It's paying you. You're taking off. And I'm like, actually, all that means is we have uploaded that song now, and that song is now going out for you to come in and take that song and do something with it. So I need you to go grab the song and do something. However, Greg, to be honest with you, I really am throwing this around, and that is just my own self. So
Yeah.
you don't have to listen to me, but for my own self, hey, how are you doing there? Good to see you. It is direct to consumer. So I
Yeah.
am playing with the direct to consumer and working with several people behind the scenes on direct to consumer, because if I can go to my site and I can do all the different steps that you need to do digitally. First, you got to make the song. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. And then by the time you're done, you're like, I just really want to hear it on the radio. That's the biggest thing, right? Like, oh my goodness, I want to hear my song on the radio. And it is a cool thing that hasn't happened to me, but it is a really cool thing to happen. And so, going through different trials and tribulations in life, something happened to one of my vocal cords, and here I am. I'm that person who's now finding the ways that we can get the people not only on radio, but TV, as going live streaming, podcasts. Yeah. You just heard some of that. Hi. The many different things that we can do to try to get you out there, and the ways that I have to work now within my own abilities as far as my vocals and what's happening with me. So, I've always been like, well, you have to get out there, and it's like the sales, marketing. It used to be A&D, A&E. There's a lot of different hats that used to be there, and now it's kind of like you need all of those hats is what you need. You need every one of them. Most definitely.
No, I love it. I mean, like you saying direct to fan is what I preach. It's like, anyone can put music out there digitally. But yeah, if you were sitting at any other business for yourself, you wouldn't think of, maybe you put it in some shops and whatnot, but what you want to do is you want to drive your fans to your site. And you want to push your music and sell directly to them, because in the music industry, there's a lot of middlemen, and there's different points where they could be useful. But early on in your career, you want to earn as much money as you possibly can. You want to, drive your audience, from your shows and your social medias to your website, where you can really engage with them, where they can get a deeper dive into who you are and get to know you a little bit better, and then sell directly to them. And that sale, it could be $1 for a track, or $10 for an album. But if you said to pay what you want, I've seen artists get $10 for a track, $100 for an album. So it gives fans the way to support you, and the way to do that is by selling directly to them. I think it's you do yourself a disservice when, this happens all the time. I see artists do all this work at their shows and social media to drive them to their website, and I get to their website and I'm assessing where they're at. The first thing they have is all these music links that send them to Spotify and to YouTube, and I'm just like, you just did all this work to get them here, and now you're sending them off to these other channels, and they're gone. Like, you want fans to stay on your site. You want them to shop. You want them to engage with you. So I agree with you. That's the best way to go.
And Greg, and nowadays, with how the music business or industry has changed, there are a lot of pros now for independent artists or indie bands, which you didn't have 30 years ago, even 20 years ago. Now, if like you said, you cut out the middleman. Usually there is a place for them, especially in the promotion department.
Of course.
But if not, sometimes it's more of a hindrance. But now you can retain your publishing, your songwriting. You're more in the driver's seat of your own, your own band, your own business, and they're not going to just dice you like in so many ways like they used to do. And then what you used to front you maybe with $3 million sometimes, depending on the deal you got.
Yeah.
By the end of the tour to album sales, even when you went, I guess, even gold albums, you're still in the red. You still owe them. I mean, all this. I mean, I'm kind of preaching to the choir, but by the time you write everything off that you owe them, you're still in the red, and then you have to do another tour, another album with the so there is pro.
You're hitting a nail on the head there. But that's the business model of the industry in a lot of ways. It's control, like controlling catalogs. If you can't control the catalog, control the artist by keeping them under contract. And listen, I'm not preaching not to work with professionals. There's a lot of wonderful professionals.
There are.
It's understanding when to utilize them and when to do that. Like, when you're first starting out, your job is to learn how to create a successful business for yourself. Only you can figure that out. Like, figuring out how you want to portray yourself to your fans. Like, what is your career actually going to look like? Do you want to tour? Do you want to live stream? All these things are individual choices that are customized to kind of fit a musician's career. And so as you're kind of figuring out what your recipe for success is, you have to focus on all and learning how to manage every aspect of your career. Most artists don't do that. They don't want to deal with the time it takes. It's too overwhelming. It's too hard. I need help here. I need help there. So they try to then outsource it to people. The problem is that most professionals work for money. And if you're not earning a percentage of a career, 15% of nothing, you're not going to get a good industry professional to come in. So you have these people come in to help you with their career, but either they don't know what they're doing, or maybe they're not so reputable. And now you're giving up all this percentages. Your career's not moving forward. And the most dangerous thing about it is if you have a professional that maybe they're good at what they do and they've booked you all these gigs and they're doing all these things for you. If all of a sudden you have a falling out with them and they leave, now you've lost all those business contacts. You could be blackballed. And now you don't know what they were doing to run your career, and now you're back to square one. So you do yourself a disservice by thinking that you can avoid this. The best thing you can do is learn how to manage all the aspects of your career, develop your professional network. And when you're overwhelmed by the work and you need a booking agent or a manager to come in, that's when you bring someone to do that kind of work for you.
But Greg, I think we had talked about this last time. To make things flow a little easier, you have to have a foundation. I hate to use this word that they used to back in the day, how they would describe a song, but I think we might have talked about it. They used to call the song the product.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it is. That's how we refer to the song. The product.
Yeah.
One of our old producers, Steve Roystein, who was very talented. He was definitely a mentor. He didn't even like using the term, but it was all part of the lingo, But you know how look, it's hard enough already when you have the product to get anywhere, as you well know. So the baseline at the very minimum, and that's why there's a couple things I want to ask you about, even that you've taken that role of kind of even mentoring and kind of giving advice to some of your bands, because I'm going to ask you a couple of questions on that. But to at the minimum have at least some interesting songs, maybe songs that at least, hey, this can be worked on. There's something to it, and build on it. But at least having a good song, or having preferably more than one good song, because that helps people like yourself and others, even in just be able to push you even easier. So you got to start with that. Then all the other heavy work comes in after you have that.
Yeah, when you're building a music career, you start with the music. I mean,
exactly.
I won't work with someone if they're not at a point where they have their original music going, or they're at bare minimum, they need to be going out and performing live. Even if they're doing covers, that's fine, but they need to be getting out there and they need to be, musically entertaining, whether it's the product of the song or the experience of the show. So you need to be able to perform and generate a buzz about yourself from that. So does it make it easy if your music's good? Yeah, it does. Some people's music isn't great, or it's experimental, or it's in such a niche genre that there's a smaller audience. That's fine. It's just, it makes it more challenging, but you got to be good at what you do. You got to learn your craft.
Well, there's a niche for everything, as you well know. You got experimental jazz fusion. You got all this stuff. There's even, which I didn't know this till recently, there's even this mumble rap, which I'm like, what? There's even a niche for that. So I'm like, okay, well, there's a niche for everything. But the better prepared you are in the songwriting department, also the performance, the better the machinery is, just a well-oiled machine, and every band member, everything, the easier it makes it for people like yourself and others to really be able to get you to that next step. And because any sort of your weakest link could be could be the thing that's keeping you from progressing to that next level.
Yeah, when you're building a career, I always I put it into 3 buckets. You need music, business, and your health. Any one of those things in this area. And what I mean by that is, you need to be able to perform and or create great music. You need the ability to sell that music and the personal connections and contacts and resources. And then you need to have the physical health to carry out your music and related tasks. I've seen lots of musicians that don't sleep, take care of their voice properly so they can't sing. But then the most important thing is the mental side of it. It's the being able to step outside your comfort zone, to do new things, and push yourself in a way that you have to grow. Because the musician, when you're starting out your career, is not going to be the same musician X amount of years into the future when you're knowledgeable, you have all these contacts, and you've done all these amazing things, like you grow, you have to evolve into that person. And we've seen the instances where a musician has gone from, obscurity to stardom too fast. They wind up drinking, they, they melt down. And so like
the vices.
So you have to allow yourself to grow into that person. That's why that overnight success stuff, where it can possibly happen, you don't even want it to. You want to take the time to grow, because once you're there, you'll be able to handle it and move forward at a level that will be able to be something that you can maintain forever. And that's, I think, the thing.
Yeah, not everybody can be a Nikki Sixx or Tommy Lee and survive all that and still pull it off, because they were constantly being nannied, as you well know. With, what was his name? Doc, I forgot the guy who was managing them. It was like constant nanny service, and there's a lot of artists like that. But people, this is what artists have to understand too, especially nowadays. You have to. You're right. You got to take care of yourself. It's not all about the partying, because you get a lot of these guys. Hey, it's for a good time. If you really want to take it serious, doesn't mean you can't have fun. But everything is compartmentalized. Okay, this is for the music. This is for this. Okay, after the performance, you can have fun and party. But if you got a performance the next day in the next city, you can't go all out. You got to be thinking of the next performance. You got to think about taking care of your voice. You got and being in shape to play again. So
it's just the best way forward. It's like, it's weird, but it's that life balance that really matters. And when you're not progressing, it's because either you're mentally, you're physically not in the right place, your career is something broken there, or musically maybe you're just not where you're supposed to be at. So you have to be firing on all cylinders, and moving and progressing forward in all three areas is important. Because I've met musicians that are amazing artists, they can do everything under the sun, but they don't have anything to do with their career. They haven't built anything. They don't know what to do. And then I have, musicians that are like influencers, just doing great, but they can't play a note well, and they haven't written a song yet. So it's just like, you have to, really kind of work on everything a little bit all at the same time, I think. To move forward.
And then you see how the musicians like Nikki Sixx or Tommy Lee, how the more they matured, they became more business savvy. They realized the deals. You see the whole thing, and they're like, oh, wow. And it kind of cleaned up their act, luckily, from that younger party mentality back. I mean, in the 80s, it was crazy, as you well know. And even in the 90s.
I am not that old, so actually, I don't know.
Well, Tracy would know. She's 29.
I am only 29,
she's 29. But you and I, Greg, they were a little longer at the tooth. We remember the good old days, just like, what you got in the back there. You got all the classic concert tickets. But I wanted to ask you this, if I'm not cutting into Tracy, I know she's got a lot of questions, but I didn't ask you this last time. What instrument do you play?
I play guitar.
You play guitar. How many bands?
I'm a rhythm guitar player. I'm sorry?
You're a rhythm guitar player. Yeah. And how many bands did you play in?
Oh, I just had the one when I first started out, and I was like solo for a while, and then I just paused because I only did it for like a couple of years before I really was just like, wait a second, this is not the industry I thought it was going to be. And then I paused. But so I didn't jump around from lots of bands, but it's something to this day I'm still going back to. I promised my mom to get a song on the radio at some point in time, but I was like, let me fix the music industry first, and then I'll do it.
I can see you probably write very good songs, if not pretty good, because I can see what the influences you have behind you.
I have so many songs.
I bet.
I heard the word songwriting, and it's like, boom. I hear the word. That, Ralph. It's like it's like a dog. I hear the word songwriting, and I'm like, where? Well, let's do a song.
Tracy's a prolific. I'll say this. She basically complimented me earlier, and I'm going to say this. Tracy is a compelling. Just the songs, the ability. She writes songs, way better songs than us, like on a dime. It takes me like sometimes like a month to like finish the lyrics to a song, and she's prolific. And in her voice, I'm telling you, it's one of the top-notch voices I've ever heard. There's one song in particular, she's not too crazy. I'm telling you, and not only myself, but a few other people saying that song's amazing. And she hit, man, that chorus that she hit, it was goosebumps. It was impressive. So
what
yes,
song
Tracy,
are you talking about, Ralph?
I think Raising the Flag, that one that the chief also likes.
Raise It Up, or
it was the one I got to ask Dr. G.
Or ask me why, yeah,
but if you hear that chorus, Greg, you'll be like, whoa, what she's hitting. It's like Pat Benatar / take any female singer on steroids.
Love it. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I
She
did
hit
just
that.
make the stink face. Everyone's like, what is she doing? I appreciate that big time, Ralph, but your voice is a million
Well,
times better.
I
So
don't well, well, look, we can exchange, compliments, but listen,
well,
I don't
I was going to
endorse.
move. We just had a guest send something in, and I was going to say this. So I don't want to really be on a stage. I want to be the songwriter. I want to be in the
Yeah.
business side, and that's where I need to stay. And it's not mine is because of the injury. I beat cancer's ass, so I can say that because I beat it. But while doing so, they nicked my right vocal cord, which leaves that right side paralyzed. So I cannot do what I used to do, meaning I have to coordinate myself over into the business side and be careful of what I'm doing, because I could get to a point where I didn't talk for a really long time. So I'm blessed that I can talk to you all. And if I get to where I go too much, I will actually lose my voice completely just to say hello to someone. So when I do get something out, it's great. I have recordings that are already out there, so thank goodness for that. Maybe getting back there behind you, Ralph, like some backup stuff, something like that. But being a front runner, I'm fine with being the demo artist. And then songwriting is it's a therapeutical tool that during all of that, that healing time and trying to figure out, it's trials and tribulations. Ralph, you mentioned songs earlier. Those are all usually lived in. I call them lived in songs. Those are trials and tribulations. Actually, the reason I can knock them out is because they usually are my story. So typically those songs are my story, and I've just changed around the way that they come out. And that's, I don't know. So I just do it, and I'm just like, it just feels right to me, and I have no clue.
But you have technique, you have the rhyming scheme, and it comes and that's not easy to do. So I give props where props are, deserved. So I'm just saying, listen, to impress me is hard. I've heard it all pretty much. I've seen a lot. So when I give props to an artist or musician, I always told you last time, Greg, I would have loved to wore that A&R hat for a while. I'd love to have been looking, So I'm always looking at, every time I'm around other bands and other artists, I'm assessing them, like if I was an A&R guy, and seeing what's good, something that's just distinct enough, in what they're doing, that just kind of separates you just a tad from the pack. And that's what I'm hearing for, no matter what the genre is,
Yeah.
So,
I don't have a specific genre. You don't either, right, Greg?
No, I mean,
no.
I listen to everything, I write in everything, and I work with any artist. Doesn't matter to me. I love music. So
I work with almost any artist. Almost.
Well, I mean, I have standards on the type of artist I work. You have to click with the person, but as long as we get along, it's good.
Well, I think let's conquer the music business.
As long as you're not on America's Most Wanted.
I got some stories about that.
Well, I'll take it back.
I think once you reach your goal, Greg, I think you will have to give Mr. Nile Rodgers a call to produce one of your songs. Call up your old buddy and check him down the read. I saw him recently on one of the late night shows, or with Duran Duran. He was playing rhythm guitar.
They were doing something new together. I was watching a little bit of that. It's great to see them reunited. But I love watching Nile play.
And I told you last time, he's an underrated guitarist. He's actually a very good guitarist and songwriter. The guy's amazing.
He's really good, but because he's always that background guy. He's that guy that makes an artist look great, and he's great at coming in and doing that kind of stuff. He's good out front too, but even in his own band, Chic, he's a guitar player.
Just the rhythms with Chic. I mean, and what was it, Bernard? I always forget the bass player.
Edwards,
Bernard, who influenced John Taylor from Duran Duran and many other bass players. To play with the Chic, you have to have a particular rhythm. That's not easy. So for Nile Rodgers to do, I mean, it's the guys. No wonder. Look at just the list. We talked about all the people. I mean, who are David Bowie, Let's Dance, and I mean, Tom Petty, Patti LaBelle. I mean, Brian Ferry from Roxy Music, who I love. I mean, I got notes here, but I can't remember it all. I mean, it's just.
I mean, you can say anybody. He's done something. I feel like he's done something in some way. They've sampled him. He's worked directly with him. He's produced him. hardest working guy I've ever met in my entire life. Like he's just done everything.
And I would like for you to eventually, if we could have the time, and when Tracy has the other questions for you, about that leap of faith that you did, because that, how you went to the Hamptons and all that, how you said that's an interesting story. And that for a lot of people could be a very encouraging kind of example of sometimes taking that leap of faith. Sometimes you have something that's safe and cozy, right?
Yeah.
But then there's that other, well, what if I take that leap? And that's a really good, story that you have on that with the working with Mr. Rodgers, or what you did. I don't know if Tracy has time, but maybe if you want to just explain that real quick of how you went.
Definitely. I mean, we brought it up. Let's say what it is.
I'll keep it brief because I know that we have a shorter time this time around. But basically, where I was at in my career was I was interning for Nile. I was living on basically peanut butter, jelly, and oatmeal, living in New York City. I had a full-time job working at an insurance company, wasn't making a lot of money, and Nile's internship was unpaid. And I had just been offered a full-time position finally from the insurance company. It was going to pay me $70,000 a year. At the same time, Nile was producing a concert series behind me with people like Prince and Billy Joel, and I had the option of either taking my full-time job or going out to Hamptons for the summer for 6 weeks, and as an office intern, just kind of working it out. And I would have had to give up the job, my apartment, move home. And my mom was like, you know what, you should just try it. And I'm just like, you know what, it's a big decision, but I figured I would go out there, I would do it, I would impress somebody, and hopefully I could pick up a full-time job because I really needed one. And so I quit my job, I moved home, I went out there for the summer. I worked my butt off. I was working just as basically the assistant to the production coordinator, who was like running the entire event below the production manager. And after right before the very first show, Prince was going on, probably like a half an hour, I had an allergic reaction to a nut thing that I ate, and I had to be carried off in an ambulance. So I'm thinking, like, I'm going to get fired. I'm missing the gig. I come in the next morning and I'm just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I really blew it last night. And we're sitting in this meeting, and I found out that the travel for Prince's band got screwed up by the production coordinator. And I was taking notes and just kind of like listening to the meeting. And then the production manager turned to me and was just like, hey, so what would you have done differently? You're taking all the notes over there. And I'm just like, I kind of laid it out. He's like, great, you're going to run it next week, because we're out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, what? Like, he's like, yeah, you're going to be in charge next week. He demoted the production coordinator, and I ran the next 4 weeks of the concert series with Dave Matthews and all these different people without a hitch. And that's how I got my full-time position working for Nile Rodgers, because I kind of saved that concert series. So it was a big gamble, but it was one that paid off. And looking back on it, it was crazy, but an amazing experience.
I love everything you just said, and I actually can relate to that whole nut allergy thing too. So it's nothing to mess with. It's something
it is not.
It is an extreme condition, and you can't mess with that one. And so, Greg, we've got you on just to unpackage it a little bit better. We've got, she is so good at tuning in right here. I love what she said. She says, Niles wouldn't produce a disco song for Mick Jagger. So Miss Diva over here, she's tuned in when you were on the last time. I love her. I'm acknowledging her because we're over here having a conversation with not only her, but other individuals as well live while you're on. But it was funny when she put this here. Do you know this story?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, she'll have to tell it to me over here. But as for you and getting a hold of you, what do you see? What do you foresee coming at you? Like, are you going to be putting on an actual concert? So for instance, you got 100 Meter Screams over there by you, and it's not plural. It's 100 Meter Scream. I'm just Southern. And then there's multiple other bands, and Ralph's laughing at me, but it's true. And then there's multiple other bands. We've got some fabulous artists out there. I mean, right now, just in the music industry, in our own pool of what we pulled together with our foundation, we've got someone we could name the head department of each genre that are just fabulous at what they do. And they've been doing it 50, 60 years. And that is something that we are looking to do as well. So an award show. So putting on an award show in that indie genre, pulling that all together, it sounds like you're that piece. you're that piece that's out there that I'd love to talk to more about that later. But while we're here right now, figuring out the best thing to do with Greg Ferraiolo, because Italian, we got to do it the right way. When we do things the right way, and you're looking for your artists, are you setting up actual concerts? Do you have something coming up?
I don't have anything coming up. So yeah, so it's funny because I kind of act like a behind the scenes manager, but I don't take percentages or anything like that. And I'm not a booking agent, but I will show them how to kind of go about all the booking stuff. But through ConcertCollab, I think it's going to be a little bit different. So initially, like again, we're building out the membership, and there's this is a new type of service that hasn't been created before. But I think we will, when we really kind of get the initial membership to the point where we feel like, okay, we can start really organizing shows, we probably will take the initiative to help organize the first several, because we want to create a model for it. And I'm talking with organizations that have worked in the DIY scene for a while, whether that's been at people's homes or people's backyards or in lofts or libraries. There's all these nonprofits and services that have been doing this for years that know how to build these communities out. It just needs to be, taught to other communities. So we want to create that model. But the whole thing is, as much as I want to be involved in it, my job is to empower the artists to do it. Because I feel like if they can do it on their own, then they, as much as we'll help facilitate the relationships, and we probably will eventually kind of step in and actually organize more events as our membership grows. But I think the first step is to teach musicians how to do it themselves so they can do it and they can start generating the income. And then as we grow that network out and we have musicians becoming more successful, then we can take a more active role of being like, okay, now we have all these musicians doing really well. Let's try to help pair people up a little bit more and organize larger events, organize festivals. I've done that before when I was working for Nile. It's a lot of work, as with festivals. But it's something I definitely would be interested in getting back into again.
I like that because it's for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'm already thinking about, Ralph knows, it's like, I already know where she's going with this. I'm going with, in September, the One Festival. And then we have been asked to come out to multiple bases. And so because of different circumstances, different show, let's just say that, the ability to come out and put on different shows, morale, to boost morale. And if that's not your thing, that's fine. Then it's to put on at least one festival. It doesn't have to be this massive, massive festival deal, but just something that we're putting on out there. And we're both in the same state. So, and it doesn't have to be in one area, but that one that we do take off when we do, no matter what it is, we're starting with the good people. We're starting with the ones who pretty much are already going and figuring out, how it is to move along. They've hit Reverb Nation. They're kind of like, we've done that. We've signed up here. We've signed up there. We're not really making any money. What in the heck can we do? And so it's, it's kind of like I'm preaching to myself right now. Okay, well, I've got all this, but okay, I need advertisers. I need sponsors. I need all of these different things.
Right.
And it's the same thing when you talk about a festival and something that you want to put on. But if it's a passion and it's something that stands within you, you're going to figure out a way to make it happen. And so that is what we did. Yeah, you figure it out.
Really, you have to. I mean, any artist I ever talk to or work with, I always say, the first thing I make them say is like, I'm going to take 100% responsibility for my success. Like, I don't make my artists successful. They make them successful. I'm there to guide them through that process, help them, support them, get them to where they need to go, make sure they don't do anything stupid, along the way, so they get to where they actually want to get going. But overall, it's up to every individual artist with the vision to make it happen, because they're the ones that care about it the most. And if they have band members, hopefully those band members care about it too. And when you're organizing an event like that, or you're starting a service like ConcertCollab, like I'm doing, like, you have to really take responsibility for it, and getting it out there. It doesn't mean you can't find allies and people to work with it, but you're right. Like, I've heard artists that have tried the Reverb Nation thing and all the services out there. And it's just like, because all the services do is they focus on, finding a venue to perform in, finding a venue to perform in. Well, that's great. Like, you can find a venue to perform anywhere. It's not the venue, it's the audience. How do you draw that audience? And you draw that audience by, either tapping into some community that already exists, or working with your fellow musicians and sharing the stage so that you have a joint audience together. It's easier when you can do it with one another. And music's meant to be collaborative. It's fun. Like, you can't just, it's fine to be a solo artist, but you're still going to bring in a band every now and again to get those different influences, and you get better music that way. And so, yeah.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And my answer is yes. So someone said like a tribute to the troops. Yes. We're talking about at the actual places we can go in. Yeah, we do. There's a system in place. You can't just show up, but that system has been made easier, and not by a good way, but it's there and in place. And we do have a couple of events that will be done smaller, but what I'm talking about is getting just the one festival, getting it under our belts, and then growing from there. We did it last year, and now, we've been talking and gathering other people together in order to do that this year. So we'll have to get in touch with you about that.
Please. I would love that.
Yeah, we would love to do that. And then I also wanted to know, yeah, I just got a message here. Everyone, if you're watching me right now out there, or you're just listening to us, you've got to go to Tracy Two-Step. Don't spell the two-step part. That's a number 2. And you can visually check out why I might have just laughed, or what I just did. I did just laugh because one of my stations, I love her. She says, you just have to have the discernment as to who you work with. So watch who you're working with, and knowing that when you work with them, do they have that same work ethic? Do they come to the table with the same discernment and work ethic that you're talking about? Now that is a whole different, it could all be in one show. America's Most Wanted, along with the discernment, along with the music, every bit of that. We can make a whole show out of every bit of that. But she does have a great point right there. So I absolutely do believe in that. Sometimes, I say it's like, there's a season and everything happens for a reason. Sometimes we are not supposed to work with certain people. I mean, you're not supposed to get along with everybody and be best friends with everybody. But, you should be kind and supportive and giving, but learning to say no and learning where you might fit is a whole different thing. And as an artist, when you're out there, you really want to just get your music out. It's like, you'll do almost anything to get your music going and get it on the radio, and you're just excited. So then it's like, oh man, I just ran into this deal and I don't know what the heck to do. And actually, I'm actually one of those people too. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not. I am. Yeah. I am one of those people. So it's like, uh-oh. So do you have that happen too, Greg?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone goes through that honeymoon period where you're just so excited to be a musician and get out there that you do something that, ultimately hurts your career, or could potentially hurt your career, whether that's getting into a bad band relationship. For me, my music mentor was like, if you want to build a music career, you really got to get out there and start playing the club scenes and work your way up. And I was just like, but I work for Nile Rodgers. So, I can, I don't need to listen to you and what you're telling me. I'm going to go out and just, take out a load, record a really expensive album. And I spoke to Nile about it. And like, he's like, you just use my band, like get out there and hang out my band. And his bass player helped put the sessions together for me. And we're in there recording. I'm dropping a tremendous amount of money. And then when I finished with doing it all, I was just like, okay, now how do I sell it? I haven't been playing. I don't have an audience yet. And, this is what my music mentor was telling me. And I was like, crap, what do I do? And then I started going out and, using my connections that I had, and found out that the deals out there were not great, but I was fortunately intelligent enough at that point in time to realize that. And so I paused, and I have paused till now because I felt like I had to go find a better way to build a career than that. But yeah, I think we've all had that instance. And I've seen so many musicians that have signed bad contracts, that have, been in a dysfunctional band relationship for too long. They need to fire their drummer, whatever, everyone kind of goes through those those things. And it's, you know, it's really hard, but you have to, like you said, you have to be able to, you know when to say no and when to pull yourself away and put yourself first.
And Greg, we talked about this last time about, you know, it's really, it's in regard to any facet of life and business, but the music business has definitely a propensity for having very predatory behavior, you know, and people who promise you something, and, you know, they can promise you the world, and they paint up a real picture. They may have somewhat of a resume, but and a lot of artists that I've known personally, and I'm sure you've met many of, you know, all have
every day.
that have been burned so bad with people who just have, you know, they have the lingo, and they come off as very impressive at first, but that's something that bands have to really, or artists, whether you're a solo or a band or whatever, the band has to have, they have to have their stuff together before anything, like, you know, not having any, you know, so there's always going to be some drama to some degree, and, you know, you know,
depends on how many women you have in the room.
Well, that's
I knew y'all like that.
Yeah, that's a question for our bass player Shauna. But
yeah,
but I was gonna say, but yeah, you got to be as strong as you can as a unit, and then when you go out to the from the interior to the exterior, you got to ask questions. One thing I end up learning, and not by my own, by, you know, from, you know, our manager now, you know, Dr. G, and even, you know, my old producer, Steve Reutersteen, about researching who you're working with. Okay. Yes. And nowadays there's so many ways of finding out about people, and the Better Business Bureau. I mean, our Dr. G, she was searching some stuff, you know, and she just, oh, look at this, that, you know, and then you start, you know, picking out those little red flags, you know, to just try to at least minimize, you know, having to make a decision you might end up regretting, working with someone who, you know, again, they present a great package for you, but they end up not delivering. And then, you know, always trying to find out what their background and who they've worked with, and doing your research, really, just because there's, again, so many stories.
Even if they have a good background, you know, today's industry very predatory, just from, you know, there's a lot of industry professionals that don't really understand how to build a music career in today's modern industry. So the advice they're giving was so relevant 20 years ago. It's not really relevant today.
Great point.
And so I think they're coming from a good place, but they're just not qualified. And I'm speaking from experience. When I came out of working for Nile, I had sold hundreds of millions of streams and hundreds of thousands of albums. I figured, like, this indie music thing is going to be easy to just teach. And I got in like, whoa, this is a completely different situation. And I would have, if I just told them to do what I did when I was working for Nile, I would have put them out of business in about a half a second. So I realized quickly they couldn't do that. And so there's a lot of that going on right now. All the messaging about playlisting and all these different things. It's just, you record this album, which is great. You spend all this money, and then it's just spend. And then they're out of a career. And it's, you know, some of that goes to promotional companies. Most of it goes to marketing companies. And I'm not saying they don't have their place, but if you don't have a way to process all those new fans and turn them into people that are actually supporting you, if you're not already generating income, spending all this money is just not sustainable. And so even with one of my most recent artists, you know, she just finished recording her first like EP. She spent a ton of money on it. She's like, okay, what now? PR? I'm like, no. We go back, we figure out how you're going to start generating your income, figure out the best way to leverage this music so you can start bringing in fans. This is something that can show what you're capable of doing. And we have to make sure that you're generating income, and then we're going to take that profit and then we'll reinvest it. And when the time is right, if you want to experiment with these things, we can do it, but you have to go that route. Otherwise, you're going to burn yourself.
Smart. So you're taking the practical approach.
Yeah.
Which like, there's an old saying, all practicalities have to be met. You know, so you just can't just jump, like, you know, like if you're doing algebra, you can't go from A to C. You have to go from A to B before you go to C.
I mean, if you really think about it, it's so crazy, because the main thing people are going after are streams. So you're spending the most amount of money to make the least amount of money. And zero connection with an actual fan base. And that's what musicians are pumping their money in, because, well, you need this to play shows. Like, no, you don't. You don't need any of that. That's what the messaging from the industry is, because that's where they want you to spend your money, but that doesn't actually do anything. So, there's a lot, again, there's just a lot of misinformation out there. And unless you really sit in and educate yourself, or you're an artist that has gone through it, it's really hard to grasp how to actually build a professional music career in today's industry.
Well, I definitely think you've demonstrated that you're a man that people should definitely contact and save themselves. That. No, I'm saying save themselves a lot of headaches and possibly a lot of losing your dough, which happens a lot, right? And maybe I guess at the end, I guess you got your information. You want to again put it out there before we end, and definitely people should definitely contact you if they're serious.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
So you definitely are saying all the the right things, and I researched you too, and we have some mutual friends like Barry Coughing and all that. So they've definitely given you a thumbs up. So it would behoove people to definitely contact you and you said last time, even a preliminary advice. You're cool.
I give free consults all the time. I do a free career assessment where I really go in deep dive, tell them what they need to work on, and I only work with people that really want help. If they don't want it, I'm okay with that. I'm not there to twist your arm, but I want you to have the information that people who are willing to listen. Yeah, you got to put yourself out and what you're getting all this information. Okay, well, and you have to think, okay, this person's coming from a different perspective that is probably going to help me, because we don't know it all. Even at this point, there's a lot I can learn. There's still stuff I find out, especially with Dr. G. Like, I'm like, oh, my God. I still learn every day. I mean, there's so much. It's always changing. And again, every artist is different. So it's like, even if you know a whole bunch of stuff, it's going to vary for every single person out there.
And the music business keeps changing in certain aspects, so you got to keep up with that.
Yeah.
So that's a great point. All right.
It's a very, very digital. If you understand digital technology, you're at an advantage. There is a constant change. There's constant changes to contracts. There are one thing that I usually bring up is when you're going into music. Recently, this is just a recent change. A contract usually would state that you have to be on social media 4 hours per day, marketing yourself 4 hours. They have now since been removing that, because the numbers that you're getting on social media, let's say TikTok, let's say you're getting 30,000 people over there and they're tuning in and they're listening to your song. Well, they were thinking that, these 30,000 people are going to show up when you go play a concert or a gig somewhere. Well, no, that's not what happens. What happens is those 30,000 people are at home and they like to click the button and say hi, and here's some good stuff. So putting that in a contract was a failure. So they've since realized, okay, we should not be going by the number that is on someone's account, on their social media accounts. Now that is coming out. I can't speak for all the labels, but I can tell you that is one of the biggest things that has been realized very recently, that, okay, that wasn't very smart. We need to pull that out. I'll even use myself as an example really quick. That storm is starting here. As we go through and we're talking, I have my partner in music, is the saying, Ralph knows who my partner in music is. I don't give away too much. But being a demo artist, being a songwriter, I have probably 6 songs right now that are with a brand. And that brand that has those 4 letters in their word. I won't say who it is right now, but they have probably 6 of my songs that they are now putting out as me, instead of now giving those to, say, I'm going to use the word Kelsey Ballerini, because she was someone who was going to go with one of my songs. They've now approached me and said, no, we want to actually put your songs out as they are with you and put you out as the artist. And that immediately makes me do this, freeze, because I'm like, that's not what was supposed to happen. So so I'm in that situation where I'm going, I don't know how comfortable I am with that, because I've told you up front, I do not plan on doing massive anything. I mean, you might get me a couple of times, but physically you cannot get me to do that. So physically, if I could, I would. But again, I have to tell my truth is, unfortunately, with a vocal cord that's paralyzed from a cancer surgery, I am damn glad that I'm here and happy that I can talk to all of you. I can't cry over the fact that that's what happened to me, but I have to be extremely honest and say, look, you know, I can't do what I used to do. So you've got my stuff, you've got my music, we've got this deal. They don't care. They want to move forward and they want to put out the music. And with everything that's going on out in the music world, I also speak to something, Greg, that I'm going to bring up to you. I've been asked to speak on this topic a lot because I am someone that is not afraid of it, and it's AI. So I've been asked this question a lot. They've asked, Tracy, will you come speak on AI? Okay, why do you want me to speak on it? Who's your main audience? Where's this at? Okay, well, AI is a tool. AI to me is my secretary. I have built up my AI to have a filing system. I have built my AI to have my publishing company. Everything is aligned. I'm a creative individual. I am not an organized individual. So what does AI do for me? It helps me run a business much easier on the creative of an organizational side of something that you don't want me to do. You want me working with the artists. You want me to be doing the creative area. You want me out there talking with the people and trying to get things done. You do not want me in there trying to get the files all situated. You're going to say, don't go to Tracy for that. Now I could do it. So I won't sell myself short, but I'm just saying we all have our pros, and then we all have to look at what is it we can actually do and we can't do. So I'm just a very honest person when it comes to that. I'm like, yeah, come to me if it's creative. Come to me if it's about, you know, A&D, A&E, all of those. I'm using old terms. Again, I'm not that old. I'm 29. So we have to say that in every show. For every show that is said, there'll be something that comes out of that this year. So out of everything that I'm talking about right now and everything that you're doing, and you've got someone like me, and I call you up and I say, Greg, I've got this situation where it was supposed to be other artists, and now they're going to be putting out these songs. What would you tell me?
Oh, I would say it's so hard to do that. But, you know, I guess my advice would be the following. You know, if you don't really want to do something, you shouldn't do it. But if you can set something up in a way that made you happy, where you felt comfortable with it, and you were getting where both sides are getting what they want out of it, I don't think you have to necessarily say no. I mean, you're not going to be going out and touring. You're not, you know, going to be doing stuff that's physically not possible for you to do. But putting it out under your name because it's your music is only right, you know, at the end of the day. So, I mean, I think it's a good idea from that standpoint, but you have to set your career up in a way where you can say no. Like, I am fine with this, but you can't expect me to do this, and this. So what I want to get out of that is this, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly what I had to say. There was no other answer I could give, but an honest answer, which is, listen, if that's the case, this is how it works. And quite honestly, I'm the person that was going to go straight to consumer. I was going to skip every one of you and not do any of this, but I met some friends, and, you know, they're in the music industry. We all start out as friends, and then it turns into a business deal. And you're like, hold up. I'm fine with it, but I just go write more songs, and, you know, it'll all work out fine. Right, Ralph?
Yeah.
We'll just go spit out another 100 songs, and then.
Well, you have that ability. I'll say that much. That's for sure.
So as a songwriter, you know, someone else was asking this, as a songwriter today. So myself as a songwriter at only 29, remember, but as of today, being a songwriter, you cannot make and do what you could have done when you all were talking about you were young in the 80s. So the songwriters from the 80s, as opposed to right now, we're in 2026, like, kind of screwed there.
songwriters have it the worst out of everybody because they don't go
Yeah.
out usually and perform. They're just writing and that's it. So yeah, I mean, when I was working in game soundtracks, I mean, the composers did a lot of work. And so like, even then it was super competitive. Now with all the AI stuff coming out, that does make it more challenging. I, like you, embrace the idea of AI from an administrative standpoint. I think it's great. I think it's also great for musicians to use to help, you know, cut up their reels and manage their team and all that kind of stuff. So I lean heavily into that. Yeah, but it's really hard. Songwriters, again, I think songwriters have it the worst because there is just so much more competition, and you can see that the industry wants to start using AI generated content.
Oh, they are.
Because why bother hiring somebody if that's the whole model of the music industry, is to take as much notice as possible. So, you know, why bother even working with an artist if I can just go out and create this music on my own? And, you know, you can kind of see that's where the trend's going. But I lean into it heavily. I believe that would be not a great thing for musicians, but I think it would be a great thing for musicians because it would stop them going down that dead end path of trying to sign with that major label and really just focus on their own life and their own music. And people aren't going to get behind that. Like, even if you wrote the best music, it was all AI generated. When are you going to interact with that artist at a show? When are you going to know their backstory and how they got to where they're going to? And that just doesn't work. And people want that physical interaction, that people want to go to that show and feel the music, not just hear it. And so I think the AI thing's a losing battle. I think the music industry will get out of it what they want to get out of it. But I think I'm hoping it'll encourage musicians to really lean more into being more active in their communities and doing what they need to do to build their career that way, and move forward.
And nowadays, Greg,
yeah,
with AI, I mean, are you really going to put AI music on a vinyl record? You know, because vinyl is becoming big again. You know, I mean, I was talking to this uncle of mine that's he's a little, you know, outdated on things, and I said, you know, believe it or not, vinyls are making a big comeback. I mean, record sales. I mean, I've seen quite a few record shops pop up now down here in Miami. Bear in mind. Yeah. Also, and I found out not too long ago that CDs are also making a comeback because the music fan, the people who really love music, they want something tangible. They just don't want something that they just hear.
Right.
When they want to go back, and a lot of the younger generations, they're seeing, like, you know, their dad or grandfathers, like myself, like my dad's records, like Sgt. Pepper, you know, or you know, Mountain, all Zeppelin, all those great albums. You see them now, you're like, wow, you know, it's almost something very special about that. And a lot of the, you know, I guess the Gen Zers are kind of going back to that. So record sales are really, you probably have the stats more on that than I am. But CDs, even CDs. So at the end of the day, it's like, you can't have an AI, you know, a hologram. I know Kiss wants to do the whole holographic thing. I'm sure you know about that in concerts. But aside from Kiss, you know, just the regular, you know, band and artist, it's something about that physical contact, you know, with the artists and the bands, and with, you know, the fans, you know, the music goer. It's kind of almost intimate, and, you know, people want to get a shirt, they want to be able to get a record, you know, and
merch.
And merch, all the merch. So I don't know where AI will play into that, because it's going to be hard to duplicate.
It's already happening.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some sort of evil master plan out there.
It's already happening.
I don't care what it is, you know. It's just I don't think that dictates the fate of music. I think it dictates the fate of the people that are going to be like all up in arms about it and just be like, well, I'm not doing this, and you're not going to stop them from doing what they're going to do.
No, you have to just keep going.
Yeah, find your own way, go a different path. If that's the way that direction's going, it's horrible and it sucks, but, you know, let them go down that path. Let's go down this path instead. That's my entire philosophy.
Yeah, you got to keep focused. You got to keep going. It's happening. You can't stop it. I left at conference when I was speaking at, we were speaking at Cutting Edge, myself and my business partner talking. And I literally, the lady that was speaking, I walked up to her as she walked out of the room, because there were a lot of people giving looks and not very happy about how much the AI was being used. And I walked up to her and I said, how many times have you gotten that look and that response? And have you gone into a room and spoke about this? She goes, well, this is the first time that I did it just flat out, here it is, presentation and all. And she said, so yes, I get the looks. Yes, I get every bit of it. But you know what? I used to be one of those people too. And guess what? The bus was leaving and I just get on the bus. It's like you're either get with the program or get off, because being in the business side of things, it's here. You either just get on the bus or you get off and keep doing what you're doing.
and it's everywhere. YouTube videos, books.
Yeah.
I mean, it's every profession out there. Even, you know, ironically speaking, I can like code my own website now. I don't need to actually hire a developer anymore. I can do it myself because like AI will do it for me. So it's just like it's going to replace a lot of jobs. But again, I think it pushes you in another direction. You can do some really exciting stuff.
But it is good. I mean, you could look at it from both sides. I mean, as an artist who needs all these different pieces, guess what? There's a lot of the pieces that you can use. And so that is what I do. I use those pieces in a smart way. And that's how I get it done. That's what keeps me organized. I actually want to get over here. Someone asked me if we have music tonight. And I'm like, of course we do. How are you doing out there? I see you all. We are a live show over here. We're on with Greg tonight, Gregory Ferraiolo. I'm making sure I say his name correctly, and it is Ferraiolo. And we have Greg on tonight with myself, Tracy Two-Step, and Ralph Miguel from 100 Meter Screen tonight, coming to you from the beat and the business from Boots, Stars, Guitars. I'd like to go down here and take a look at what you sent in tonight. I immediately noticed somebody, so I got to go there. I immediately noticed Ravs. Are we talking about the same Ravs?
We are talking about the same Ravs. I've worked with Ravs for like almost my entire career at MIC. She's one of the first artists I worked with, and I love her to death. Yeah.
Okay.
We go way back.
Up in the north area of where I'm at. Okay. Yeah, Dallas, I thought so. I was like, I know that's her. We immediately hit it off. We haven't met in person, but we immediately, it's just one of those things like with people. Yeah. And so I'm curious here. I don't think I've heard what you sent in here with Ravs. I can see Rosie.
Rosie Beach.
Is this a song that she did with you and helped write, or
just her?
Just her. Okay.
Just her, not me. All the songs tonight are just my artist. I had nothing to do with it other than encouragement.
Yeah. So what is it that you actually helped Ravs with?
I helped her with the artist development side. So she came to me when she needed help developing her career, and I work with her. I still mentor her. Again, I kind of act like a behind the scenes manager, but I'm there with all her business stuff. I told her all the business side of the industry, and I still work with her again to this day.
I need a Greg. It sounds like that's what I need.
Yeah. That's what I am for everybody.
I think what I'm missing is a Greg. I'm missing my Greg. So I'm excited about this, Ralph. I've actually interviewed her. I love Ravs, and I want to try to get her out there this year. But it is Ravs. Say the name of her song for me again, Greg.
It's Rosie Peach.
Rosie Peach. Listen, Ravs, you're going to expect something, and you're going to go, whoa, wait a minute. This is how I was when I got her music, okay? I was like, wow. And I love it. So she's one of the artists that I'll tell you that I never judge a book by its cover. I immediately got the music and went, oh, okay, this is cool, because I really love to jump around in genres. So she's really, really just a good person too. But Ravs is Ravs, and I'm going to play her song now. And let's check this out.
Living through the desperate times. Take a sip, now you're swallowing crime. Neighbor and a stranger, monster wars inside. And will we find peace before we die? Balance in the body, soul and mind. Breathe in, breathe out, it's all gonna be fine. The world too blind, I'm reaching for my vice. You're never to know what lies below our demise. 'Cause it's not what it seems. Colors out of sync. You take what you get. Oh, they fucks with your head. Oh, reality ain't no rosy peach, 'cause it's rosy peach, rosy peach. Rose-colored glass blocks out the light. Peaches grow massive, blocking my sight. Justice for those who justify my rights, and everyone else can learn to pay the price. My truth must hide my bias confirmed. The screens really don't want us to learn, cause life's a blur and death takes its turn. Yeah, you can't set fire to what's been burned, cause it's not what it seems. Colors out of sync. You take what you get. Oh, they fucks with your head. Yeah, yeah, oh. Reality ain't no rosy peach, cause it's not what it seems. Colors out of sync. You take what you get. Oh, they fucks with your head. Yeah, yeah, oh. Reality ain't no rosy peach, nah. Sugar and spice, whipping up this peach cobbler, refreshing and light. Hit 'em with the rose water. Thorns piercing my heart and making me bleed. I'm tired of seeing them get killed on the street. Innocence we be living in, the alternative dimensional vision asserting now I'm living this primitive instinct. Permanent, more premonition, taking on a catastrophic mission. I'm headed out to isolation. It's not what it seems. Colors out of sync. You take what you get. Oh, they fucks with your head. Oh, reality ain't no rosy peach, cause it's not what it seems. It colors out of sync. Oh, yeah, they fucks with your head. Reality ain't no rosy peach.
Gotta give her the gong. I mean, I'm literally, I have messages over here. They're going, wait, Jazz? I'm like, hold on. And then they're like, wait. And I'm like, yeah, just wait.
She's great. I love her.
I love Ravs. She has, so Ralph, I don't think you've heard Ravs yet. When I interviewed her, it made me think, man, I'm not saying I'm her, but I'm saying that I kind of think the way that she thinks. I don't care what genre is supposed to go somewhere or isn't supposed to go. I don't even know what comes out of me and why. It's like, this is not supposed to be. She is that way. She is just like, it's, you look and you think it's going to go one way and it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, she didn't follow
the truth.
Yeah, she didn't follow a typical formula in songwriting, which is good. It's unpredictable. I'm even wondering if Gregory had any Nile Rodgers advice they maybe threw at her,
Nope. I can take zero credit.
Actually, I knew that song. So that's when you could see me over here. I was like, I actually knew that song. And I was like, she's just
when I met her, she just what I loved about her, she just had such a vision, not only for her music, but how she wanted to present it, the branding. Like she just really knew it. And like she was so driven and hardworking. I just was like, yeah, let me work with you. I'd love to.
Well, that's definitely different. I'll tell you that, Greg. It's not, again, it's sometimes, like I was saying, that's just a tad different from everything else. And not everything has to be like pop oriented. That's the whole thing that the majors have been throwing. It has to be sound like this, or I don't even remember all the names of all these top 40 artists that can't even sell out a club. Maybe a few can.
She was introduced to me as a rap artist. They sent her my way and said, hey, we have a rap artist for you. And I said, okay, I've got hip hop stuff. So, all right. And we get in there and I'm like, wait a minute. No, I don't really like the whole genre thing. Kind of in my book is there is no one-sided genre. I don't even know. Ralph would even say Tracy has no clue what genre she is because whatever comes out. And that Ravs is kind of that way. It's like, no, we're over here live, and I had somebody go jazz, and I'm like, hold on, in a minute, it's about to flip on you. You got to listen to the whole thing to understand where we're going with this one. So I knew what was coming, and I absolutely love that. That is Ravs, and that is Ravs. Ravs is the artist. I have to get a hold of her and get her back on with the new stations and everywhere that I'm out now. I got to get her back on for sure. And I wanted to move over here. I see Myrna and the Bulldogs. What am I looking at?
Yeah, they're an amazing couple that I met when I, again, very early in my MIC career. They're a couple out of Austin, but they also work out of New York. Myrna is a professional actress as well, so she's been on shows like What They Do in the Shadows. But Bulldog is a longtime industry veteran. They are just really amazing songwriters. Americana music, very different from Ravs, but I work with everything. So, but they're really just good people, and their song Drunk is absolutely fantastic. Just one of those great things that you can listen to and just be like, all right, I love them.
Well, we're going to listen to them. And that is the name of the song in here, Greg?
Yep.
All right, here we go. We're going to play this. This is Myrna and the Bulldogs. Here it is again with the beat and the business from Boots, Stars, Guitars, Tracy Two-Step, Ralph Miguel, and Greg Ferraiolo. Here it is.
You only call me when you're drunk. You only call me when you're drunk. If I'm a secret that you're keeping, you better find another one. Why do you make me feel like I ain't no good instead of letting someone else love me like they should? You only love me when you need. You're really tender when you need. I'm tired of being such a bother when you leave my heart out to bleed. Why do you make me feel like I ain't no good instead of letting someone else love me like they should? When you breathe, you just annoy me when you breathe. Now that I found another lover, I think it's high time that you leave. Why do you make me feel like I ain't no good instead of letting someone else love me like they should? Listen up. Feelings of pleasure coursing through my veins, knowing you won't change, so I've gone and rearranged my life. I don't need you. Discovering my treasures cleanse me of the pain. I have everything to gain, it'll never be the same. My life, I'm gonna leave you. I said, feelings of pleasure coursing through my veins, knowing you won't change, so I've gone and rearranged my life. I don't need you. Discovering my treasures cleanse me of the pain. I have everything to gain, it'll never be the same. My life. Call me when you're drunk. You only call me when you're drunk. If I'm a secret that you're keeping, you better find another one. Well, I found my pride and I took it back, and I've been told I'm damn good. How you like that?
Yeah.
I absolutely love their style. I absolutely love that song. I knew when I played, I was like, I'm having fun tonight.
Greg, learning a little something about synchronization on sync. I think that song,
Oh yeah,
I work for like sync. I'm sure some Netflix. There's probably a lot of things that could fit in all these shows that they have, but I think that would do well, probably in sync. That's my opinion.
Quick funny story. When I was first working with them, I was like, you guys got to start building your mailing list up, and maybe I should give a track away for free. And they're like, all right, let us think about how we want to go about doing it. And I went to their next show, and we're watching, and they put on an amazing performance. And all of a sudden, they're like, how many people here want to get drunk for free? And everyone's like, yeah. They're like, great, sign up for our mailing list. And I'm just like, oh my God, it was great. All these people signed up, but it was brilliant marketing. And yeah, so
smart. She sounds like an amazingly smart and talented individual. So
good people.
I was just loving every bit of that. I love when someone takes you down a lane and you think it's going one way and all of a sudden it's switched. And I don't know why I do it, Ralph. I just do. I don't even know that I do it. But so when you sent these in tonight, I was like, hey, I might have found some people that are like me. I didn't know there were other people. Not that I'm that good. I'm just saying, like, switching it up and like having it just come out different. I between Ravs and also Myrna and the Bulldogs right there, I was just like, holy cow. Now you have another individual in here, and I don't want to mess up his name again.
it's Woe.
Woe,
and he's a former Springboard artist.
Okay.
But I met them when we were in New York. He was at the Prohibition, the bar I used to hang out when I was first starting at MIC. One of my very early artists. He started right around the same time as Ravs. But he's a queer pop star, one of the most amazing songwriters I've met. Really super talented, hardworking, from Houston, Texas. Now living in LA. So all my artists are from tonight are all Texas based.
Okay, and it is WEAUX.
Correct.
WEAUX. This is the artist right here that we're talking about. That I'm going to play the song, and the name of the song is Naive.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to like this one too. We're talking about the drunk, the naive, and some rosy peach tonight. So here it is. I'm going to play this with Woe and check out this music right now.
There was no COVID-19 when I was naive. I didn't need a vaccine. When I was naive, I used to be so carefree. When I was naive, I never had a worry. I wanna feel like I used to feel when I didn't have a care in the world. I wanna dream like I used to dream when I was naive. When I was naive. When I was naive, when I was naive, I used to believe in love when I was naive. I used to trust everyone. When I was naive, I used to play Pokemon. When I was naive, I used to have so much fun. I wanna feel like I used to feel when I didn't have a care in the world. I wanna dream like I used to dream when I was naive. When I was naive. When I was naive. When I was naive.
with privilege. I never needed God to intervene, but ever since, life's feeling like it's heaven sent. The proof is self-evident. These hard facts making metal spin. When I was naive, I firmly believe all I could conceive, yeah, it was all for me, yeah. Path changed decidedly, it stirs hope inside of me. Still got that fight in me, but life keeps on lifing me, and I hate it.
We're never naive. We're never naive. I wanna feel like I used to feel when I didn't have a care in the world. I wanna dream like I used to dream. We're never naive. We're never
I like it. I thought it was great. The vocal range that he has, number one, is insane. I'm like, he's like way over here, and then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, okay, we're going the other way. Yeah. So I actually think the vocal range and everything about him is incredible. So that is someone that I had no idea of this individual. So they're out in LA now?
Out in LA, but born and raised, I think, in Houston, and then I met him when he was living in New York.
And moved out there to try to make a run at the whole music. Is that what
he was there for school? So and then started pursuing music there, and then went back to Houston for a bit of time. That's when he did the Springboard Music Fest, and then he just went out to LA because it was time to. He always dreamed about going out there and pursuing music, which is what he's doing now, and also acting.
Well, the two individuals that have all my stuff are out there too. So, no, I loved every bit of that. I mean, especially you picked some really good ones. So I knew that there was within Greg himself and within the companies and everything that you're doing and everything you have your hands on. I knew that we had to have you on the show and bring in a little bit of a mixture of the songs, because we are songs and stories. And you do have many hats. You are actually, I'm trying to decide like which one are you? You're literally like a whole label, the team, the management, everything that's happening back there. So, I mean, ironically, right there, Ravs be perfect at the festival, like I was thinking. So she's one of the ones that I would definitely love to pull. She's just fun.
Do that.
Yeah. She's amazing. She's fun. She's a good person. And she's not even, I bet, what most people are thinking, because we don't have her here right now. But she's the most down to earth, laid back individual that it was just nice. It's almost like we knew each other forever. So I loved it. It was very cool. What did you think about all of that, Ralph?
Oh, all three songs are different. That's what I like about it too. They're all
just scratching the surface too.
They're all very different, but very different in themselves too.
Oh yeah, no, just kind of like it kind of touches on all different genres, especially this one that's a bit of a last one that has a bit of an electronic thing. That's why when he said New York, I thought he was in New York for the electronic kind of. I guess he was in school, but and then of course, was it the second song? Towards the end, it got into a little bit of a James Brown kind of groove too. I liked, and then of course the first song had that. I don't know, had a pretty cool guitar solo. Almost went like a bridge. That was like almost hard rock. Wow!
When I heard the guitar, that got me.
Yeah,
I
so
love
yeah,
that.
every song definitely had its own great qualities, and it's I can see where you're working with people
I
who are
love it.
serious, Greg.
Yeah,
Most
they're really
definitely.
good. They're really good artists, every one of them, and I have so many more that I work with. So now the job is to get them all out there and getting them paid and taken care of.
Getting it
Yeah,
all figured out. That's how
Yeah.
it works. So
Yep.
that would be one of the things I would tell them is we have another show that we can get artists onto. So depending upon your level of what you're doing in the industry, obviously a night that you're on the show, if it's the beat and the business, you're obviously going to have someone that's been within the industry. And that's where you come to that show. And then we also have Boots, Stars, Guitars, our hit list. That's the night where we bring these artists with us and we come in here and we get them the exposure and even just the experience of coming in, letting other people hear your music and seeing what that's all about. We live in a digital world. Right now, I love you, all of my terrestrial stations, but I mean, to be very honest with you, there are a lot of them that the doors are closing because it is overhead is very expensive. And you can now go create your station if you're doing it the right way. So this is what you got to be careful about. This is the only thing that bothers me. AI doesn't scare me. It's the people that'll go open up these stations and then we're not getting them properly ran. I worry more about that than I do the AI part. So I want to be working with reputable individuals who are taking care of where that music is going. So anytime you come on this show, I can tell you it's going to be recognized. It's going to get pulled, or either I'll have no show. None of us will. It will shut me down really quick. So I always say that too. So if I'm meeting an artist, I'm like, hey, by the end of the show, I'm like, when you go on another show, ask them, hey, are you going to have the ability to pull my music? Am I going to get credit for my music? And they're like, oh, I should ask that. And I'm like, yeah, I would. I would immediately say, hey, are you using something or am I just going on social media? What am I doing here? I'm like, yeah, you should, because you really want it to pull the music and then you get the credit. So not only that, but, teach them that, you come on here and you're on Boots, Stars, Guitars. There is an S on each of that. Boots, Stars, Guitars. And I say BSG. So BSG, everybody remember that. That keeps it easy right there. BSG. And you're on here and we're going through your music only and you're the artist on that night. That's your set list that we're sitting there playing. You need to go back into, and I'm using BMI as a reference, like for me, go back into BMI, put that set list in there, and there you just got yourself paid. Now, is it going to make you rich? No, but it's better than nothing. So there's one of the two ways that I like to tell people, listen, there's a few things you need to do, right, Ralph?
Oh, well, it's like I tell even our band, we've gotten to a point that we understand if we can make supplemental income, right, just from our music, nowadays, that's a huge success. Okay, something that can even mitigate your second job. You don't have to really quit your day job, but if you're making something that's like, wow, I got this extra, income coming in, that's a big thing. As a matter of fact, I saw my buddies saw what's Information Society at Epcot a couple weeks ago, and all those guys still have their day jobs. One guy's teaching at the University of Oregon. He was telling me this the other day, but they still have enough shows throughout the year that they're getting that extra, income coming in. So, like independent artists, the days of like coming in like a Smashing Pumpkins or Nirvana, again, the music business has changed. But if you do it right, okay, build it from the ground up, try to have very minimal weaknesses in your arm and just try to do things as best as you can. You could very well at least make a career where you're getting supplemental income from it. From the merch, from the streaming. And it might be like, whoa, this is a pretty good deal, So that's how we look at things. And hey, as people have always asked me in interviews, well, where do you see you going with this? There's one individual, a big producer, who asked me, well, do you want to be on the label? I said, nope, not again. I'm not interested in the label. But what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to do it. What I want to do is take it as far as I can. Take the music, in the band as far as we can take it and see where all the chips may lie. And that's it. That's how everybody should look at it. You do the best you can, you put it out there, and when it's all said and done, you want to say, I did all I could.
Yeah.
And
just keep
I'm
making small
smiling
steps.
because I love all of our comments we're getting. Everybody that's tuning in here is that they love the high notes. They're talking about they love the good stuff. They love that it's different and that everything sounded great. And Miss Diva over here, Diva 3750. Yes, I will get to you for sure. I put my email address there. And then, of course, one of our home stations there has been here the whole time. Y'all can check that out. You can download 99.9 straight out of the Houston area, Greg. But it is a global station, and that is 99.9 KERB. And you will find Boots, Stars, Guitars all over 99.9 and One Star Radio. So I have 99.9 where I have every genre you can think of. And then I have One Star Radio where they really love their country. They really love their red dirt. So if you're in that market, I've got a great one for that. And if you're in another market, I've got one to take care of everything. So, and then of course, our TV partner, HTTV, you might have recognized that, Greg. Did you recognize that?
I didn't. I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah. So our TV partner here, I'm not going to say his name yet. I need to get a hold of him, but there it is. I just wanted to say it. So HTTV.
Now I reckon it.
Yep. HTTV has done his years, probably 50, 60 years worth in the business of music and has been working incredibly hard to get all of these television stations up and going for music again. And he's been very successful at that. And so now we are along the ride with these shows that he has, our shows, which are all stories and songs, except for one. We do have one where we tell, stories, true stories, loss, crime. But all of our shows will be TV. They will be, whether it's a podcast, the podcasting company. But really, you go to Tracy Two-Step, you don't spell two-step. And you can find everything there, and you can find Boots, Stars, Guitars. Sergeant Two-Step Foundation.org has our foundation. That is the mission. That is the passion behind what we do. And mixing the music in there was something that's been done since I was born. It isn't just because he isn't here, but it is also a survival mechanism for me. Doing music, creating songs in the way that it's medicinal for me is what helps. So I don't know for all of you out there what helps you, but being able to create and write a song, it brings me a therapeutic relief in my life that is very medicinal. All the music is very medicinal to me.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, well, when you're an artist, you're telling your story, you're kind of in contact with what you feel. You're kind of like, it's an outlet, and again, I've said Tracy's very prolific at that. She's got a lot of stories. That's why she's able to write. I mean, I'm impressed because I got a pretty good catalog myself, and I bet you definitely you can like just on the spot. I mean, you would be like just for any of these, big companies that just want a writer. You would definitely, But Greg, real quick, because before I forget, I don't want to. If you don't mind, Tracy, what's your most interesting, best memory and story of Nile Rodgers?
Oh man, I'm trying to think of a story that it's late at night. I'm going to say the first thing that came to my mind. I worked with Nile for a long time, but I very rarely had a lot of one-on-one personal time. But I was at his house at one point in time, working on building a new website for the company, and he was there and he was writing his book, and he was like I don't know what story to include in my book, and he's like I got this really good one about Bruce Springsteen, and he's like can I tell you too? Let me know what you think. And I was like, sure, hit me with it. He's like so it's like Bruce Springsteen. He was like he's like, I'm just gonna say, he's like, it can be a little cheap, but he's always looking for money and blah, 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 this and that. And so we were all in a recording session, having a good time. And he left the room for a few minutes, and we decided to play a joke on him and throw $100 bill on the ground and see what he would do. And so we waited And he came back in and we started performing. And about 5 minutes in, all of a sudden you see his foot go out and put it on the $100 bill and slowly slid back in. And we all broke down laughing. But it was just, it was such a candid moment that I was working with Nile. I was like dying. He's like, I don't know if that's going to go in or not, man. But I was like, I'm so glad that you told me that story, because it's just not something that would come out like normally. But they were all really good friends. And, and it was like,
well, he's a good Jersey boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's a good story. Wow, that's something.
Sounds about right. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that documentary, but I did, and so it very accurately depicts and would explain that story right there too.
Yeah.
So it goes right along with it. So we've been here on Booth Stars Guitars with the beat and the business with Mr. Gregory Ferraiolo. And there's a Southern again, but it got it right. It's Ferraiolo. He is out here in Texas. He is working with different artists. He is the founder of Musician Indie Coalition and ConcertCollab, doing a lot of work out there. Mr. Ralph Miguel over there, 100 Meter Scream, one of my partners in music and in Sergeant Two-Step Foundation, Don't Spell Two-Step. And I am Tracy Two-Step. Ralph, I have enjoyed having you on. And Greg, I have absolutely enjoyed having you in here. We are wrapping up. If there is something that you yourself would like to say, or you, Ralph, now's the time to say it.
I just want to thank you so much for having me on. It's been such a pleasure. I love chatting with you guys, and always a good time, lots of laughs. And so I really appreciate you having me on. It's just been so much fun.
Hopefully in the near future, because I still have more questions here for you.
Yeah,
like,
I'll come on anytime you want.
Yeah, like Mr. Thomas Van Dyke, who's I guess a mentor for you guys. I read.
Oh yeah.
He's a veteran, by the way, Tracy. He's a U.S. military veteran.
Oh wow.
He wears a lot of hats, and he's also a martial artist. I was like, man, this guy sounds pretty cool. He's I guess a mentor.
He's
with
great.
So
wow.
So when we have time in the future,
okay. Is he in Texas?
He's not. But we do work with. I do work with the occasional veteran, and that does that's doing music. So yeah, anytime I have the opportunity, I love that. But yeah, Thomas is great, a wealth of knowledge in so many different ways. But he's still actively booking and stuff. But he's I'm blanking on I'm blanking on the state that he's in right now. I'm sorry.
No, fine.
It's 11:30 at night, and I'm like,
that's right. Greg and I are on East Coast time. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm on East Coast time.
Oh, are you? So you're not home right now. I got you. I'm following you. Yeah, we will. We're following you. We will definitely have to get you back in here. Now you brought up something there at the end, the veteran thing. So that is something that we are still going to do. The individual with a contract today, myself and my partner in music, found out that the person that was doing that backed out, decided they did not want to do the bass shows. So that means that we need to get busy with who is doing the bass shows and how we're going to go about that. So actually, Greg, I think that you might have been on today for a very good reason.
Always right place, right time,
Right place, right time, good people. So I love it. I love every bit of that. So that did just happen today. So we were told, wait. We thought about it some more, and we just don't think that's the right fit for our artists. I'm like, well, okay. Yeah. Okay. It's no big deal. It's not something that, you have to do, but I don't see the harm in it, but some people might feel like it might pull their music in a different direction that maybe it just doesn't work for them, and that's fine. So, but as a personal individual who might advise someone of what they could do with their music, I would say get out there and let the music do it.
Yeah.
Like, get out there, get your music out, get out there in front of crowds. That's one big way to do it. And then, of course, get as many gigs as you can, festivals, you name it. That's where it's at, and get your merch going. We're wrapping up on the show. I'm going to be closing out. And Ralph, anything else from you?
No, just I would heed the advice of Mr. Ferraiolo, and you definitely any band that's, especially if they've gotten to a point where they got songs and they really want to try to go in the best right direction as possible, I would say to contact you, or somebody that's at least certified hey, legit,
Yeah.
and has the best intent and has scruples, because that's sometimes, there's a lack of there in the music industry sometimes. So that's
Well
the
said,
best.
yeah.
I want to talk to you later or another time, Greg, if it's okay. We give you
Well,
calls.
we're going to definitely bring him back, Ralph. We'll definitely
Yeah, I'd like to ask one
pull
crazy.
him back. I'm going to close this really quick. Greg, do not go anywhere. Ralph, do not go anywhere. I have to wrap up this right now. We thank you for tuning in and joining us here at Booth Stars Guitars. Stand by.